You know, I've been saying in this broadcast, be careful of the polls. They are often wrong. Be careful of sentiment. Brexit proves it. That Colombian vote, that peace deal with the guerrillas proved it. It was expected to be easily passed by Colombian voters by about 20 percentage points. It wasn't. So just be careful of this. And what better example in our country's recent history than that of Scott Brown, who wins Ted Kennedy's old seat when no one saw that coming. I guess Scott Brown did. But that was then. Could we be seeing that happening right now? Senator, always good to see you.
Thank you, Neil. Good to see you, too.
You know, they say if that were to repeat itself, something you don't see happening happens, it might come back and owe itself to these WikiLeaks revelations. My view on the WikiLeaks stuff, regardless of the fact that you get two different Hillary Clintons, I'm hoping if she were elected, despite all of this hope for surprise and Donald Trump turns it around, but if she were, I hope it's the Hillary Clinton in these emails who is leading the country and not the Hillary Clinton who is trying to out-liberaling the likes of Bernie Sanders, because she seems very pragmatic, very open with bankers and capitalists behind closed doors, very open to free and unfettered trade behind closed doors, very open and free to just sort of taking a lot of the regulations that are in a lot of business guys' way out of their way. Very different than what she's like on the stump. What do you think?
Well, first of all, Neil, I don't like to hope when it comes to these things, because we hoped with President Obama. We said, well, you know, we're gonna elect this guy, and he's really not going to be as radical as he says he's going to be. And it turns out that he is probably 2 or 3 times more radical, using executive order, terrible foreign policy, raising taxes, being a great divider instead of a great uniter. And I think Hillary Clinton is going to be influenced so badly by Bernie Sanders, who will be the head of the Budget Committee, and Elizabeth Warren, who will be involved,
Senate,
obviously.
Right, Scott, if they took the Senate, if that somehow prevented it, in the scenario she wins, there are others, obviously, totally different scenarios if she doesn't, but that she might have to compromise because she wouldn't have the run of the table as Barack Obama did.
Correct.
When he came in.
Correct. Well, yes, and don't forget, when Barack did have that run of the table, they had the supermajorities. I don't think the fact the Senate turns, I don't think they're going to get that that supermajority. I came in and I was the 41st senator. Remember, they had 2 years to do climate change, fair pay, minimum wage, and Bernie Sanders led them on zero, Neil. They did nothing for 2 years. Then I got there, and it was all of a sudden it's the Republicans' fault. They can't get anything through. What I think you're going to see, if we still have the House and Senate, which I hope we will, I'm working to help in that regard, and others are as well, that you will have a Hillary Clinton, like Bill Clinton, that's going to have to go to Congress and actually get things done. Will it happen? Gosh, I hope so. Our country's just yearning so badly for people to do the people's business. I pray every day that that's the case, but I'm not too hopeful, unfortunately.
What if, let's flip it around then, Senator, and let's say Donald Trump does win, surprises everybody. I have a feeling, I know you and I have chatted about this, there are some Republicans, maybe establishment types, that's an overused phrase, who might fear that more than his losing.
I think there's some of that, Neil. Certainly, they'd rather have, you know, their kind of power base in Washington, D.C., and that's what I think the American people understand and recognize. But my hope is that they will understand that if he wins, we will have the House and the Senate, and we have an opportunity to put kind of the genie back in the bottle and work on the things that people care about, which is border security, our debt and deficit, taxes, you know, do a whole host of things, a judiciary dealing with the Supreme Court and the judges. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If you take the things that are happening with Donald Trump, and you take the things with the WikiLeaks happening with Hillary Clinton, you just focus on policy, sanctuary cities, looser borders, higher taxes, more regulation versus no sanctuary cities, strong borders, lowering taxes.
How do you deal when the media is ignoring that? Now, the media loved your opponent when you were running. And just gave it disproportionate. All of them. I'm talking in the Massachusetts race, not even so much in New Hampshire, but disproportionate praise and attention. She was a visionary, even though she didn't seem to know the Boston Red Sox were a baseball team. But leaving that aside, she got all the attention. Just like right now, Hillary Clinton gets all the attention and praise. Donald Trump, all the
good
damnation,
attention too.
Right, and rage. So how did you counter that?
Well, I countered it the old-fashioned way. I got in my truck and I drove all around the state and got to meet people. And I think Trump is countering that by not sitting back like Hillary's doing right now, and he's going rally after rally after rally. And people recognize that hard work. In Portsmouth, we had 7,000 people at a rally in Portsmouth over the weekend, and there were another 3,000 waiting to get in. So the energy is certainly there. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. Well, I saw it in my first election, but it's back. And people kind of get the fact that the media is...
Maybe they were there for you. Trump was getting all the credit.
No, listen. What is in fact happening, Neil, is that the piling on by the media on Donald Trump, I think is having kind of a backfiring effect. People are starting to feel a little bit sorry for the guy because he's out there.
I think you're right. It is a pile on, and there's no attempt at balance. Scott Brown, thank you very, very much.
Great, Neil. We'll see you tomorrow in Vegas.
Very good, my friend.